Hey YouTube, and thanks for watching Junkworks Garage. So I'm going to be putting this together. It is the 3-inch extended reach air cutoff saw, or tool is what they call it, from Central Pneumatic, Harbor Freight. And it comes with a cutoff wheel, the tool, another little tool, and an Allen wrench. Got another tool. In here it will say have an oil daily sticker on it, and this little plug in here, you got to pull the plug out. I'm just putting this in for right now by hand, so it's going to leak. Right now I'm just testing these real quick, but I don't want to run this one without having the cutoff wheel on it. It did come with one. You can choose whether or not you trust it. I've been using these things for a long time. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but I've never had one explode on me that wasn't my fault because I was using it incorrectly. And even then it only cracked, it didn't explode. So, to each their own when it comes to what they use. Now, it's got this little thing here. So they definitely tighten this on here pretty good. Helps have a fat gut to hold things against. This is the one thing. I mean, these are cheap, 30 something. I'll put a price in the screen somewhere. But they're cheap tools. But this one gets pretty good reviews every time I've ever seen anybody use it. So we got that off there. I'm going to stick that. I'm hoping I can stick that in there without pulling it apart, which you can. I am going to look and see. Direction wise, I don't know as it really does matter, but I'm going to put the writing out. That's usually the case. This definitely has like a indention on one side and flat on the other. Putting the indention over the top, or face towards the cutting tool, and then this goes back on here. Hopefully you can see any of this. It's not difficult if you have half a width to figure out how things work. Anyway, and then we'll put that on there, and you don't have to crank on these things. They will actually tighten themselves as they spin. Now the other thing about this tool, like I talked about in that video, on here it says 90 psi max. So that is the max psi you should run this. But also on the cutoff wheel it'll say 25,000 RPM is what this one says. So you got to make sure that this tool doesn't outmatch that. Since it came with this, I'm going to go ahead and risk it, I guess you would say. But you can't just plug in your 175 psi compressor into this thing and expect it to last very long. You have to neck down the air. I think I got this one set for around 80. Which in the end will probably turn into 60, meaning the air will go down. Now I wouldn't use it like this. Obviously I keep this actually in line usually in my compressor when I'm using stuff like this, so I can mess with the air, but right now testing purposes together. But I forgot to mention, make sure you put oil in this. These need to be oiled every time you use them, 2 or 3 drops. Since this is the first time, I actually dumped a little bit more oil in it. I use Marvel Mystery Oil, and I've had good luck with that. So there we go, yet again, there's air coming out of here because this is just kind of stuck in there by hand. I'm just testing these. Well, for kicks and chisels, I put a screw in here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut on this. Now I have noticed when putting this in, yet again, this is in by hand, so it's going to blow air somewhat. Make sure it's tight too. But at around what I had set for 80 to 90 psi, it goes down to 60, so I don't know if that means it needs to run at that, or if I can push the button or the air and run it up to 90 before I have problems with this blowing out seals. But for right now, I'm going to run it lower, and we'll see how it cuts through, and I'll play with it a little bit here. So that's right at 90 right there. That needs more pressure, so I'm going to run it up about 100, probably 120, which scares me a little bit, and that sounds better. Yet again, you're responsible for your own safety and your own knowledge of your tool. Now, I'll admit it labored a little bit. I also know that there is a way to do some adjusting with this stuff in here. I have not read the directions well enough yet to probably be even using this. Actually, I haven't read the directions at all, so I shouldn't be using it. But regardless, it cut through that. How hard is it? It's an old screw, so it's been through time and back, but so I don't know. But honestly, the main reason I bought this is for cutting through thin sheet metal. That is what I'm going to use it for more than anything, and it should do that just fine. Plus, this cutoff wheel is super thick for a cutoff wheel. I got some thinner ones that'll probably work way better at cutting and not be so hard on the machine. So if you're looking for something that's just going to eat right through everything you push at it as hard as you can, this is not the tool for you. But if you're willing to take a little bit more time, which you should be anyways, so that you do things right, if you're willing to take the time it takes for this to do the job, it will do the job. Yet again, I've seen a lot of people with these and they're all very happy with them. Really, it looks like there's a way to maybe even put a little bit of grease in here, which I probably should yet again read the instructions and make sure that, you know, I shouldn't run this maybe anymore till I do that. I don't know. It kind of looks like one of those needle grease gun type things will go into here. It's not going to hog through things. If you're the kind of person that wants to take this thing and just hog right through something and have it cut, just no matter how hard you push on it, this is not the tool for you. If you are going to do a lot of sheet metal, which is what I'm going to use this for, mostly sheet metal, that bolt right there or screw right there is probably thicker than anything else I'll ever cut with it. Because if I ever have to cut something thicker, I have this booby here and I put full pressure. I've put full pressure this for the last 20 years and had no problems with it. It's an old Mac, and I just use this like crazy, and yes, this will plow through anything I want to. Also, you can buy the electric Harbor Freight grinders. Those things do alright. They don't plow through stuff like a lot of other ones, but they do alright. But regardless, this will go through the sheet metal I plan on using it for, down in wheel wells and up in wheel wells and that kind of places where you can't get up in there with other tools. It's harder. So that's what I bought this for, and it will do the job. Now I'll just show you, since I'm doing a video on this, it does have the safety here. You push that forward and push down. That helps air go through, for those of you that don't know a lot about these things. As far as this, it doesn't appear to adjust, and there is no tool to, there's 3 Allen or grub screws probably in here that go around this, and there's no way to adjust it. You should be able to adjust it if you want to, but you're gonna have to find the tool that fits in there. Me, myself, and I'm sure you'll see this later on in videos, and you'll see how I use the guards. But you should keep the guards on because they help you stay safe. Well, hopefully you got something out of that. Go check out my Harbor Freight playlist. That's the best way to watch a lot of these videos if you want to look at some of the other tools I got from Harbor Freight. I actually have a lot of Harbor Freight stuff in that playlist, so go check it out if you're a fan of Harbor Freight, or if you're not. And you'll be able to see what I think of different tools, good, bad, and otherwise. So as far as these tools, I do think that they're all pretty good for the money. Therein lies the for the money. That's where it is. Well, there you go. Now you know. Thanks for watching Junk Works Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.